And my voice is okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Thank you.
You are clearly audible, sir. Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Okay, so good evening, everyone, once again. And we continue with our journey and exploration in the area of seeing how the variety of AI tools can help us, as we have been seeing over the last two sessions, of how they would help us in various different phases and areas of research writing and other topics and other domains. So, before getting started with today's discussion, just a small recap of what we covered yesterday. I'll just briefly mention the name of the tools that we covered. So, we began our discussion with Heuristica, which is essentially a mind mapping tool. As we saw, with the help of its AI enabled technology, it was able to mind map varieties of topics and subtopics, as we saw, which was followed by another visualization tool, which was called mylens.ai. And this particular tool helped us to create a variety of visualizations such as timelines and mind maps and etc. And after that, we saw our first tool into the category of literature review, which was open knowledge maps. And from there, we will continue our journey forward and we will be looking at two important tools today, which are going to help us further in the literature review section only. So let me share my screen and we can begin with today's discussion. As just like yesterday's session, our questions will be taking up in the last 10 minutes of the session. So, thank you. All right, at my screen, I hope it would be visible, and we would be beginning with our session for today with the first tool. I hope my screen is visible. So yeah, we'll be coming back to this window in a moment. The tool that I am about to show is another very popularly well-known tool. It's called as Research Rabbit. It's a slightly advanced version of Open Knowledge Maps, and this is what the homepage of the tool looks like. And this is its URL. It's researchrabbit.ai, and it's essentially primarily used for, as I mentioned just now, for literature review. And we'll be seeing in a moment as to how this tool helps us increase and sort of gives us a very, very detailed. Somebody's mic is on. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So continuing the discussion forward, the way that this tool works is it is by looking at certain or establishing certain connections and networks between the kind of areas or topics that we look for. It would help us foray quite a little bit more into detail when we start or when we go ahead in the literature review process. So having said that, let me just come back on the top. So this particular tool is completely free to use. None of its features are, none of its major features are behind the paywall. And it does, however, on the other hand, requires for us to sign up, which can be done by clicking on this button right here. And once we click on that, it will bring us to this very, very simple interface where we would just have to enter our credentials, our email ID that we wish to use. And I think after that, it would send a verification link, which we can then access through our email. And once we do that, it will log in and it will bring us to this particular section, this particular blank screen. Now, before going any forward, a quick review of the options that are given right here. The first one being the most important one, which is the settings option. If I click on that, it would allow me to make a few changes like deletion of the account, changing of credentials, etc. That can be done from here. And we come to this particular section right here, with which we started out with. And if I zoom in a bit, we would see that there are three different options that are available here, and the one on the bottom is saying connect to Zotero. So for those of us who have used Zotero before for reference management or for managing our references and citations, I can click on this and it will open up a new tab, which will redirect me to the Zotero website. And once I log in and follow all the steps, I would be able to import and bring all my references here within Research Rabbit, and then I can work further from there. So, however, assuming that I have not used Zotero and we are starting out from scratch, what we do is we have to click. Right now, we can see that currently there is nothing that is being shown here. What we do is we click on this option right here, which says New Collection. If I click on it, we would see that a window pops up here on the left side where it is asking for a name or a label for the collection. Now, this label can be anything. It can be a topic that I'm working on. It can be my subject area. Basically, it can be anything that would help me distinguish one project from the other. So I can simply name it whatever it is that I'm working on. And once I do that, and once I have entered the name, I can click on anywhere outside here in this white space. It will ask me for this kind of a pop-up. It says create collection with name digital humanities. I click on OK, and we can see that a few options have started out. Let me very quickly show it once again in case anybody has missed it. So in case we wish to delete this, what we do is we click on these three buttons right here. I can click on delete and it will disappear from here. This is what we saw initially. What I did was, just to quickly repeat the same, click on new collection. It will open up this blank space. I would type in my name or any label that I wish to give. And from there, I would click outside. It will give me this pop-up. I click on OK. And it would show me this new screen that is coming out. Now, we can see that currently there are a few options that are available on the right side of my screen here, which is earlier, later works, these authors, suggested authors, etc. And all of these are currently disabled. So what we need to do now is we need to give a certain amount of papers or documents to Research Rabbit, from where it can start working out or creating the network of documents or papers for us with which we can work with. So in order to do that, all I need to do is I need to click on this option right here, which says add papers. And if I click on that, what would happen is it will open up this new space for me. And here also we can see that there are three different options that are available. I can connect or to it directly to my Zotero library. I can import any documents or list of references from there, or I can upload a file in the BIB, or an RIS format as well. Assuming that I don't have any of those, I can simply type my series of search queries, keywords, authors, DOI, or any specific title of a paper. As long as that paper is available inside of Research Rabbit, it will be added to the library of the platform or the tool itself. Or, very simple, if we are starting out, especially with the literature review process initially, I can type the subject area that I'm working on. I can click on search, and we can see that it will give me a whole detailed list of papers, which you can see right now coming up. And just like our tool from yesterday that we saw, which was Open Knowledge Maps, we can see that there are two different domains that we can transition into the broader areas. I can either go to biomedical or life sciences, from wherein it would try to pull out the papers which it seemed to think are relevant to the search query that I have entered here. And for any other subject areas, we simply go back to the default setting, which is the all subject areas is shown. And once we do that, for any document that is available inside of the database of Research Rabbit, we can see that right here at the outset itself, there are a few different options that are available to us for our reference. We can see that there are names of the authors given with the year of publication, the title, and a brief abstract or a brief summary of what the paper is about. So reading this would give us an idea as to whether this particular paper or document would be useful, or text would be useful for my specific study or not. And suppose I feel that I find these to be useful, and any such papers that I want in my collection, I can simply click on this option right here, which says add to collection. And you can see that it says added one paper. It will take a few seconds, and on the basis of the speed of the internet, and of course, as I mentioned yesterday, the load on the server, it should add the paper directly. And in this way, I'll just add a few documents very quickly. So Of course, the process then would be to go through some of these abstracts and add them as per the requirement of the project or the topic that we are working on. I am adding a few because I wanted to show some of the features that are available, and there is no limit as such to the total number of collection. All right, so I think that's okay for now. I think quite a few. Somebody's mic is on. May I please request you to mute? Thank you. All right. So now we can see that whatever documents or papers we have added, they all are available in this selection right here. And one by one, we can start going through them. But before we do that, I can simply filter out these documents also by any specific filter that I want to create. In case I wish to delete all of them, I can click on select all, and I can simply remove them from here if I wish to do so. Now, supposingly, this is the first paper that I want to work with. I will click on this, and if we notice carefully, it has opened up a new section for me. I'll show it once again in case we have missed it. In fact, let me show the entire process. So what I did was I added some of the papers by clicking on this option right here. And after that, I selected one particular document or paper. And from there, this new option will open up where we have the same information coming out that was available in the brief abstract section earlier, but a little bit more. Yeah. And we can see that there is a hyperlink. Again, somebody's mic is on. May I please request the organizers because I can't see the screen and I'm getting something. So. All right, sir, I hope I am audible now. Again, I got a notification.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir. Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, continuing our discussion forward. So we can see that there is a hyperlink that is given right here. And if I click on this PDF, it ideally should open the copy of the paper for me to download, or as we saw yesterday, with Open Knowledge Maps also, it would open up either the document soft copy or it would open up the website where the paper is located, and from there I can simply save this particular paper for my reference. And in case the PDF is not available in open access, then the PDF link would not show. So it would say something like this, which says no PDF. So that is something that is important to take a note of. So if the PDF is available for a particular text or a particular document, then the link would be enabled on its own. And if it's not available, it would show no PDF within its this particular box that is selected. Right. Now, for any document that we select, apart from accessing the title and the abstract and the PDF of the text itself, we can also do a few other different things with the document. And here now we can see that a few options have opened up. So for example, if I click on this button right here, if I click on the similar work option, based on the information that is available in this abstract and the primary document or paper that we have selected, it would create for us this new list of about, I think in this instance, it is around 349 documents, which are available in the form of this graph, which we can see right here, or I can, so it's a network essentially. I can also change it to a timeline from here, where we can see these different papers ranging from somewhere around the oldest one being from, I think, 1885 to the latest one being from 2023. And we can also change this output either, like currently it is labeled according to the first author. I can also label it according to the last author as well. And in this way, we can have a visual representation for our reference. So not only that, if I click on this download option right here, it should also download the graph for my reference. Yeah, there we go. So we can see that the graph is available for our reference here. I think it's a PNG file that it has downloaded. So just to show it once again, it is this button right here on the bottom, the download option. And in the same way, I can download the timeline as well. And if I go to the timeline, if I go back to the first author, I'll click on the download option. It will download the entire image for me along with the year of publication each shown there. And this is the new list of papers that we have available for us. And again, the same logic applies. If I, for example, click on any one of these documents, right? So again, it will give me a new dialog box with this one again doesn't have a PDF, but we have a more detailed list of similar works. Now the number has increased from around to 1295 such papers, and all of them can be added to our collection directly. If I click on Add to Digital Humanities, it will add this new paper to my basic in origin point from where I started out with. And in this we can navigate and transition very, very quickly between the various different areas or topics or papers that we are working on. So if I select all of them, for example, we can see that there are 7,000 similar works that it has found. Let me deselect them. And in a similar way, so the first one is the similar works section, which shows us works similar to the first document that we have selected. Apart from that, all the references that are being mentioned in this document are also commonly found in other documents in this network. They would also be shown here. Output remains the same. In this way, we can also see the interconnectivity between different papers and different documents that is available for any area or topic that we wish to work on. And we can see from here that from the references, we get a new section right here, which is called the linked content. If I click on this, it would find papers and it would find content which is linked between all these documents that are given in this graph right here, along with the location. Well, right now, I think this is mostly accessing Wikipedia in this instance as to from where it is pulling out this information from. And apart from this, Research Rabbit allows us to do something else as well. So for example, let's say that whatever papers I have added here, I find them to be quite useful. I will select all of them, and we see that now. So each time if I select or deselect any papers, these numbers will change. They will update in real time. And let me deselect all of them once again. Let me go to this one, for example. Maybe this one. Yeah. So this way we can have connectivity between references and citations on the basis of the document that we select. Apart from that, we can also see on the basis of the authors of this particular document. I would again request the organizers. Okay, it is my humble request to please keep your mics on mute because my screen is shared and the app is open, so I won't be able to see the Google Meet. And in that case, the organizers will again and again have to mute us. That will break the flow of the session. So a small request from my end. Thank you. Continuing forward, when we see that on the basis of the authors of this particular document that we have selected, if I click on these authors, within the information database or within the database of Research Rabbit, whichever other publications by the same authors are mentioned, they also would come out in this new box that pops up, or this new pop-up that comes out. And not only can we find similar works by the same authors, but we can also find other suggested authors who have worked on areas similar to the paper that we are looking at. And this works actually better if we select more number of papers. For example, if I do select all, I can see that now there is a list of, I think, about 351 suggested authors, which would allow us to further navigate and find more information about who are the other experts or scholars working in this domain. We also get a total number of publications available inside Research Rabbit's database and the total number of citations mentioned within them. And all of this, whichever of this graphical output we require, we can download them here, right here from this option. So that is something which is very, very powerful, which would allow us to navigate to and fro by using this bar right here, keeping going and coming back to build up our network of all the papers or documents that we want. Not only that, this was the interconnectivity within the Research Rabbit. Now, suppose, let's say that I have selected these some 15, 20 papers that I've added here. I want to keep them for my, I want to download this information for my reference. So that also is possible, which was not possible in Open Knowledge Maps, which is possible to do so from right here. So we see this section right here, which says export papers, we can see that there are three different formats that are available to us for download. BibText, I think we have seen yesterday, it will download that file for us. But the one of reference for now and the one of importance right now is the CSV format. If I click on this, for example, we can see that a file has downloaded here with the name being given as research rabbit underscore export. And if I open this, it should be having the information of all the papers that I have added to my collection. So we can see that there are a few fields that are opening up as I maximize them. So let's go from the left. Here on the top, we have the DOI link of the paper for our reference, the ARXIV ID if it is applicable for that particular document, followed by the same abstract that was available earlier, but this time being given in a descriptive format inside this cell. But more importantly, what we do have apart from the abstract is just a moment, let me come on this side, the authors of these papers, and of course the journals or the name of the journals where they were published with the year of publication. So any number of papers that we add here in this list would then be downloaded under the CSV file as soon as the moment I click on this file. So for example, if I go to similar works, let's say there are about 1200 or so works here. I select all of them, and if I click on add to digital humanities, we should be seeing a pop-up in just a moment. I think there are about 50 or so papers selected. It says added 50 papers. Now, so these new papers have been added to my base collection. And if I again click on CSV, we should be having a bigger list this time. So we can see that the list has increased. I mean, we can obviously see the difference between the previous version, which consisted of few papers that I have added manually, and this is the new list, which has been loaded after the Office tool, just a few other elements within Research Rabbit. Let's say I have a group of collaborators that I'm working with, and we all are remotely collaborating on a project or a topic. And if I wish to share this particular network with them in real time, it is very easily possible to do so by coming to this section right here on the bottom, which says collaborators. So there are two ways of really doing this. One is I can directly add collaborators from here. If I click on the edit button, it will open up this new dialog box for me. I can give it the project name, and from there I can simply invite the collaborators here by adding the email IDs. And just like we have over Google Drive permissions, we can change the permissions. So we can give two different kinds of permissions. So let's say, for example, I'm showing this as an example to my students. I can say read only, which means they can only see the final output. They cannot change or add the papers to my collection. Or else, if I want to allow them to add some papers, I can switch back to the default setting of can add papers, and we can click on invite. On that particular email ID, they would receive an invite link, which would enable them to come to this particular collection that we have built. So that's the first way of sharing it. The second way is to simply turn on this option right here, which is the public collection link. If I turn this on, and if I click on copy for a moment, it will give me a link. It says copied a shareable link to this collection. And now what I need to do very simply is to come to any document that I'm working on. Suppose, let's say it's a Microsoft Word or an Excel file or any document. We can see that we have this link that has been pasted just now. I'll paste it once again, which is a hyperlink essentially. And if I click on this, it will automatically again open up the same page. And it gives me a pop-up here in the new tab that to add papers, since the permissions are enabled, so it will ask me to log in. It will bring me to the same page from where I started out with. So it becomes really easy to share the links also, and it's very easy to navigate, as I was mentioning. So that's the first one for today. It's called as Research Rabbit, a slightly quite a little bit more advanced version of Open Knowledge Maths. And we move on to the second tool for today, perhaps a tool which is a little bit more advanced version of this tool itself, and again quite well known, allows us to do quite a lot. Which, let me first show that. I'll come back to the new tab that I was having. The next tool that I plan to show is again a very popular one. It's called as Elicit, and this is the hyperlink. It's called elicit.com, and this is its homepage. And before we come to the tool itself, once you start exploring this, I would invite you to read through its homepage a little bit carefully. We would be able to see the kind of work that they've put in, which is really quite good in terms of the organizations that they seem to be collaborating with to update its information in real time, which is given right here. There's a lot of documentation to read through, and please feel free to go through it as per your availability of time. Now, Elicit again is a tool which belongs to the freemium category. When I say freemium, as I mentioned yesterday, what I mean is that in the free version of the software, we have some limitations. Now, this particular tool works on a system of credits. So with each account, we get a certain amount of free credits, which are quite useful, as we will see as we go ahead. They're quite sufficient for the kind of analysis or the kind of search that we wish to do. This would require us for us to sign up when we open it for the first time. It can be done so again by using the sign up option right here. So either I can create an account or I can simply log in using my existing Google account or a GitHub ID if I have one. So once that is done and once we have logged in, it would bring us to this particular section right here. This is what Elicit would look like once we have logged in and we are inside Elicit. And we can see that there are 2 or 3 options that are given here. If I click on the logo, it will bring me back to the home page from wherever I am inside the platform. So if I want to come back to the main screen, I have to simply click on this. It will bring me back to my main section. Then there is a section called as notebooks. We'll be coming back to it in a few moments. And there is something called as library as well. Again, we'll come to that in a few minutes. Going back to the home page, before going any further, we can see that currently we are on the free version of the platform. If I wish to upgrade, if I find it useful, I can click on the upgrade option, which will then show me all the information that I require in order to access some of its advanced features, along with the necessary requisite amount that is required to be paid. But again, as I mentioned in the beginning, the free version itself is quite powerful enough. Apart from that, if you see here on the top right corner, we would be able to see that there are a few account settings that we can navigate from. And here we can do some of the things such as, for example, I can simply connect it again, just like a Research Rabbit to Zotero if I wish to do so. And some of the other information on what the free plan allows us to do is mentioned here. Now, once we come back to homepage, there are 3 different elements that are given in the homepage of Elicit, and they are pretty self-explanatory. The first one would allow us or help us in the process of literature review. We'll be beginning with that. We'll look at that first. The second one would allow us to upload a PDF file and interact with it and extract information from it. The third one, which is the list of concepts, what that will actually do is whatever search of topic or domain or area I am looking to do, it will look through the papers that it has available inside it and will try to find a list of unique concepts. We'll see 2 of them in demo right now. As far as extract data from PDFs is concerned, if I click on this right now, we'll see that it will allow me to upload the papers. But this has a very major limitation. The limitation is in the free version, we are able to upload only up to 10 papers per month. So we have a really better tool for this, which we'll be seeing as if time permits today, or if not, then in the next session tomorrow, where, as I mentioned in my yesterday's session, that using one single base document or one single base paper, we would be able to extract a lot of information from it. So there is a completely free tool out there for that one. So we'll come back to that in a few minutes. But coming back to the main tab right here, which says find research papers, we can enter any topic that we are working on, and this can not just, and if we see carefully, it says ask a research question. So not only can I just search a topic, I can ask it a detailed question also. The more detailed the question is, the better the output it will be in terms of the papers that it gives to us. So let's try asking it something. Maybe this time I'll try something different. Let's say, for example, I am looking for maybe historical fiction in English literature. Suppose this is my area that I have shortlisted that I wish to work on. I'll search. We start seeing the strength of illicit coming into play, and we will see that in a few moments the output is being generated as we speak, but it is yet to be finished because, yeah, this is when we know that the output is ready. So what we see here on the top in this paragraph is a short summary of the top four documents or the top four papers or texts that Elicit was able to bring out on the basis of whatever search item I have entered here. And it gives me that information along with the paper or the document from where it is getting that information in the form of this reference being mentioned here in the bracket. And we can see that the paper is the top four papers have those authors' names that are being mentioned here. And so this is where we'll be able to see that we are working with the free version or the freemium version. If I click on this drop down menu, it says that if I want to have, let's say, a summary of the top 8 papers, I'll have to upgrade to its premium plan. I can copy this from here. It says copied. I can go to my, right now Excel is open, so I'm doing it in Excel, but we can all do the same with Word also. It would give me the exact same output in a Word file as well with the exact same referencing. And on this side here, we see that the documents are listed as per our search query that we have entered. A few pieces of information that we have here are just like Research Rabbit: the title, the authors, the journal that it is located, the year of publication, and the DOI link. And in whichever instance the PDF link is available or the paper is available in open access, the PDF link would be there. If I click on it, again, either it will open up a website or it will give me the paper directly, which I can save and download. So in this way, it would enable us to directly access the paper from here itself. Wherever it is not available, the PDF button by default would be disabled. So suppose, let's say this is the paper that I'm interested in. I click on it, and in a second, I think we should be coming to a new window. Let's just give it a second. Let me try. Second paper. Let me refresh it once. There is some problem with the platform. Usually when we click on it, it would take us to a new section. Let me see if it opens up. Okay, let me try it one more time. Okay, there's some technical glitch. I am not able to open that dialog box, but what it does is it will open up a new section where this would be available in much more detail, and we would, just like Research Rabbit, we would be able to read through the detailed abstract and then decide whether the paper is useful for our reference or not. And if you want to add new papers to this list, I can simply click on this load more option right here, which would try to add whatever relevant documents or papers it is able to find from its collection on the basis of the search query that I have entered. Yeah, so, okay. So apart from that, a few major reasons why Elicit is slightly advanced is, for example, the way that it allows us to navigate through these papers and the kind of information we can generate from it. So, for example, if I click on this filter option right here, we can see that it allows us to sort through the papers in a variety of ways. For example, if I simply turn on this option called as has PDF, and if I click on apply, it will refresh the entire list. We'll see that the summary will also change. And now only those papers will be shown for which the paper is available in the open access category. And we can directly navigate through those papers by clicking on these links right here. And either it will open up the paper in this, the way it has, I think, here. Or in the second instance, as I mentioned, it would then take us to the website where the paper is located, which would then directly download for our reference. So that's the first major way of sort of shifting through or filtering out the documents as per our requirement. Apart from that, as we can see here, we can also filter according to the year of publication. Let's say I only want papers after 2010, maybe. I only want those papers which are having the PDF or button, which are having the PDF copy available. So that would be then possible to do so. Of course, depending on the filters that we mix and match and combine, the results will change, and each time the summary will change also on the top. It will go through only the top 4 papers. And we can see that now we only have papers, I think, after 2010. There won't be any paper before that. And yeah, I think a few more papers have been added. So yeah, so that's the second filter. The third one actually then allows us to filter according to what it understands to be the quality of the journal from where the document is being pulled, according to the quartiles, as we know very well, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. I can simply just ask for only Q1 journals, for example. Again, it will filter the list for my reference, and we again should be having a new list coming up. So I think the paper has changed. The summary will also change again for my reference. So that's something that is useful to take a note of. Then I can, for example, then I can change just only Q1 and Q2, and then it will only give me results accordingly. Let me give all again. Apart from that, we can also filter the documents as per the kind of study type that the paper refers to. It can be review papers, it can be meta-analysis, systematic review, longitudinal studies, etc. Apart from that, let's say there are very specific keywords that I want to focus on, and I want the papers to be filtered according to my keywords only. So there are 2 options that are available for our reference, which says abstract contains and abstract does not contain. So let's say, I think this will work better. If I am looking for papers which do not contain the word fiction in their abstract, and if I click on add, so now we can see that that keyword has been added here. And if I filter my search again, now the platform will try to give me those documents or those papers which do not have the fiction keyword being mentioned in their abstract that it's able to pull. Let's see, we'll give it a few seconds for it to generate the results. It will take a few moments. Let me close the other results in the meantime. Yeah, maybe there might be some error with regards to generation of results. Why? Because I have added fiction here and I am asking it to give me papers which do not have the word fiction. So let me refresh it once. I'll try it with a different keyword. That way we should have a better output. Yeah, we are back to the default setting. Let me try with another keyword this time. Let's say, suppose instead of fiction, I want to go with the term English. This should have a better output. Yeah. And when I say that abstract, I refer to this particular section right here, not the name of the journal, because that particular keyword is still here, given here on this side. But for the abstracts that are available on this side, would try to avoid those papers which have the keywords that I have added in the abstract does not contain category. So this system of navigation makes it really useful in terms of the kind of results that we wish to have a return on very quickly. But that's the first part of it. The second and the more important feature of Elicit is currently we can see that for each paper, it is giving me the abstract or summary only of that document. But if we see here, which says manage columns right here, and we can see that there's a very long list of options that is available to us. Right from summary, I'll go through them very slowly. Main findings, methodology, intervention, outcomes measured, limitations, intervention effects, summary of introduction, discussion, design, study objectives, theoretical frameworks, research questions, gaps, hypothesis tested, future research, scope of the topic, the source of funding if it is able to find, data sets if any, study counts, and there's a long list. Softwares used, policy recommendations, it ends with policy recommendations. So whichever I select from here, and I'm sure we must have guessed it, let's say for example, if I click on research question, it will add a new column here for me. And from whatever information it is able to pull from these papers, it would try to give me an idea about what are the research questions that are being discussed in that particular document. So whichever information it is able to find, it will give us that information. If I click on theoretical framework, for example, it will give me that. Now, wherever it is not able to find anything, it will give me a message saying that not mentioned in the paper, which means that the paper does not explicitly state any such framework, or it was not able to find that. But wherever it is able to find it, we can see that it is giving me that information. So for example, for I think this paper, which is that one, let's see, narrating the past history, geography, memory, and contemporary novel. And it says the theoretical framework stated in so-and-so paper is an analytical framework that examines the narrative representation. Important thing to take a note of is at a time, we can only add 2 such columns. We can see that we have added 2 columns, research question and framework. So the other columns have been disabled by default. And in case I want to add new columns, I can click on this down arrow from whichever ones I wish to remove. I can click on delete and it will delete it from here. So again, these options would be enabled. Whatever I wish to enable again, let's say I want to see what the future scope of research. So now it will add this particular section for me. Wherever it is not able to find anything, it will, and I think in most cases there is not much mentioned here. So that's what is giving me a result for all of them saying that they are not mentioned. Let's see if by clicking load more we are able to find anything. Again, it is able to pull research questions, but it is not getting any future scope of research. Maybe because the topic that I've entered is such. So let's try another column. I'll delete this. Let's say maybe the main findings. Let me zoom out. Yeah, so these are, so for example, for this particular document, whichever paper it is being referred to here, these are the main findings it was able to give. If I click on this is what I was referring to. When I click on abstract, this time it has opened apparently. It will open up this kind of a new dialog box and it will allow me to read from that particular section in detail. And if I click on the open paper section, it will open up this new section for me. So when I was earlier trying to click on abstract, this is what I wanted to show. But maybe that time there was some problem with the platform, it was not opening. And if I want to go back to my collection, I can click on back to notebook. This is important to take a note of. If I click on the elicit option or if I click on the back button from the browser, it will remove the entire collection. It will go back to the home page. What I need to do is I have to click on this button, back to notebook. That it will bring me to where I was working initially. And in this way, we can pull out a lot of information. In case any field that we want is not available in this list, we can also make our own custom kind of data that we want to extract. Example, limitations, etc. Let me try limitations. And again, click on limitations column. It will ask me to give any detailed instructions that I want to give, and what kind of answer do we want, specified, any answer, etc. That also we can determine. Let's say any answer. I can click on save, and now let's see if it is able to find any limitations from these documents. Whatever it is try able to find, it will give, I think, but most foremost, yeah. And then it tries to give an idea also. For example, for this one, it says the limitation is not mentioned, and because this particular document apparently is a commentary. So yeah, so here we have some limitations coming up, so which are there available for our reference. So it's a very, very powerful flat platform in itself. As I mentioned in the beginning, let me go back to the home page. As I said when I started out with the platform, this is something that we'll be looking up in our next session tomorrow, because we have a better tool for this, which is to extract data from PDFs. Let me come to the last one, which is list of concepts. Now, while find papers will find papers for us according to the topic that I enter. When I search for any concept, or when I ask it to prepare a list of concepts, this is what it will do. Suppose this is the topic that I'm going with. This will take a few more. This will take a few minutes more, because there are about 3 or 4 steps that it has to follow. It will hunt through the papers. It will prepare a list. It will filter it out for duplication of results. All of that will be done, and after that, the results would be returned to us. And then we would have a detailed list of the concepts that are appearing across all the different papers according to the topic that we search for. So while this is happening, I think it is done. Yeah, because I need some time then for questions as well. So the final output won't be ready until it goes through all the steps. So whatever we see here is still the information being generated. Let's just give it a few more seconds. So kindly bear with me for that. All right, so these are the concepts that it was then finally able to find from which particular document from which particular documents it is pulling them from, and what are they referring to. That is what is mentioned here for our reference. I can click on the full screen mode and I can start viewing them. So as I said, this is a freemium tool, so some features are not available. So if, for example, if I want to download this, I would have to upgrade. But then again, we can have a screenshot. I can simply copy paste this also if I wish to. Manual copy pasting is always permissible. I can just take this and I can go back to my Word file and I can paste this information directly. So let's let it open up in the meantime. Yeah, so in this way, depending on the requirements, or of course, screenshot is also possible. So that is the second one for today. It's Elicit. We have seen 2 very, very detailed platforms. With that, it's, I think we are exactly on time. Let me rest my session here for today. First of all, thank you so much for listening to me patiently, and we can have some questions now. Let me stop sharing my screen. We can have some questions. Yeah, please feel free to unmute and we can have some questions.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any queries to ask the resource person, you are free for the next 5 to 10 minutes. The session is yours.
All right, any questions, please? All right, sir, I don't think we have any questions.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So maybe we can then, over to you, sir, in that case, if we don't have any questions.
Hemajyoti, madam.
Yes, sir.
We'll conclude.
Sir, thank you so much for the excellent session today also, as we have studied. And you are using those IA tools with ease. It reflects your expertise on all these tools. Thank you so much for explaining today in like Research Rabbit and Elicit And we hope in the next sessions also we will have the same type of spirit and encouragement for our participants. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, Punit sir, and
Thank you,
all
sir.
the
Yes.
participants, those who joined with a very good interest and showing a good response to our faculty development program. It is all because of the resource persons who are giving an enormous trending concepts and as well as which are obviously necessary for any researcher to update their information. And to be frank, sir, Punit sir, I hope this is my maybe 10th session I am attending for your I mean session, sir. This is my almost my
Yes, sir.
10th
Yeah.
program. I think I'm following you,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes, sir.
yeah, to my surprise, I could not able to find the repetition in the tools and other contemporary research tools what you are sharing in each and every program, sir. And I was a bit wondered to see that how you could able to keep update these things. And it's our pleasure and privilege, sir, to follow you.
Thank you so much
And
for those kind words, sir. And it's not really me, sir. The technology itself is evolving so quickly, as we know very well, as we saw yesterday with Sora also. So I mean, we just have to sort of keep on learning from that. But thank you so much for those kind words. Thank you.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. I think that's all for the today, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks
Yes,
a
thank
lot.
you so much, everyone. We'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you.